I'm Thomas Nyman of 636 West Tennessee Avenue. I'd like to thank the village manager and whoever else may have been involved in getting a lawn mowed next door to me, and for contacting some people after I give him some names about a couple that own the metal house beside me on the other side. It is now supposed to be torn down before the end of December and leveled by the owners. But the other house at 616, I'd like to know the status on that, because the health manager, per the guy and his wife that are camped out there right now, that Crystal Black gave permission to camp out. They, he informed me that this health department guy was over there within the past week or so. He looked outside and said, well, it looks like you're doing cleaning up a little bit. He said, I'll get back with you later to walk through the house to see what condition it's in. Now, I've given pictures of the outside of the house, and just today, more pictures to the village manager of the inside of the house. It is totally shot, holes in walls. A big limb came through a tree came through the house about 5 years ago. Rain's been pouring in ever since, and the house has been empty, I think, now for 6 or 7 years. I hear they were given a continuance. I don't know what that's all about, but I was with the assumption a continuance was to have something done to the house in a certain amount of time. I've kept an eye on that house, and I was mowing 3 lawns in the neighborhood. I'm now mowing 2. And I watched the house. There's been nothing improved about that house whatsoever since they ripped the kitchen out. A lot of stuff in the basement. You can't hardly even get down the steps, which are shot, and the front steps too. But the house is shot. Far from being called a home, and never will be. I'd just like to know what the circumstances are, the situation with it. Because I called Mahoney, they said that they ran out of money, and the Sebring ran out of money to demolish homes.
Through the land bank program, yes, we
Yes.
did.
So I'd just like to know what's going to be done with it, because Crystal came down and tore the board off that was nailed up there, because Mahoney County said it was condemned about three and a half years ago. And they put boards across other windows. She tore some boards off, but one's still up there. The log is now rotted and laying over for the past couple of years, but the hole's there. The pictures show that. And it needs to be down, and it's up to you, the board, and I appreciate what you've done so far. But it is ruining the value of the homes in the neighborhood, like everywhere else in the village, that need to come down.
To answer your question on what the status is or where we're at, from the health department, I talked with Mr. Shaney, and from the outside of the property, he saw no sewage, trash, waste material, recyclables, so he felt that he didn't have anything to work with there. Now, we have not been on the inside of the house.
Okay.
So I will ask Mr. Finch, our building inspector, because I know he did a drive-by and a walk-around.
That was it, with the man and his wife that's there. And he said it looks pretty good. He said, but I'll get back with you later about inside.
When you say they're camped out there, could you be a little more specific?
They pitched a tent. They've got a big brown dog. They've got a water bowl out there. They feed him outside when it's raining. They get in the car and feed the dog in there. They sit in there and eat out of cans of food.
They're living in a tent.
Yes, for about the past 3.5 weeks. They used a candle until, which I felt for them, so I gave them some food about 3 nights ago, and I gave them a light. But the candle was outside. I took pictures of everything that was outside too, with their vehicle and all.
Restroom facilities?
I was just going to get to that. I got up about 3 mornings early with my dog every morning, happened to look over, and he's urinating up against the house in the back. What she's doing, I have no idea. Ain't none of my business, but I know what he's doing. And he said that the house is unfit to live in, the man, and they're not planning on staying. They were going to move some furniture in, but they said under no circumstances, because they opened up the house for the past week. Front door, back door, windows, they said they closed them. The next morning it smells just as bad as it did before, and the one female officer here She almost vomited the day she came over and almost ran back out because of the cats, 30, 40 cats before they finally boarded the house up, so to speak.
Okay.
If I could.
If I may, first of all, Mr. Newman and I, thank you for the kind words. I'll pass that on to our code enforcement officer on mowing.
Well, he said some kind of a safety person left it walked around with him. But nobody walked in the house, which he was there, I don't know why he didn't, unless that wasn't his part of the job.
Right. Well, no, they only do exterior maintenance, but you and I talked in length in my office
Yes.
about that situation, and you gave me additional information today. The new information that you and I talked about was the fact of the living conditions of the people on site. So, in addition to the documentation you gave me, I'm going to draft a letter to the county with the documentation indicating that, well, if the exterior house is okay, but unfortunately the interior of the house and what is happening out there right now is a health concern, and that the health department needs to take action. If people are living on the property and they don't have proper facilities and they are living without that, those are health code violations. That is the county health department's responsibility to take action. So I think the circumstances have changed. What was the change? Mr. Neely?
Mr. Shaney?
Mr. Shane. Mr. Shane may not be aware of these new conditions. I'm going to draft a letter with the documentation and reinforce it from my office that the situation has changed and request action. So that will go out. I'm more than happy to send you a copy of that.
Well, the outside is deplorable too. There's small graffiti out back that they painted over green with a can of spray paint. And like I say, the holes in the roof, you can see a little bit of it from the outside from the picture, but if you go in the house, the room off to the left, the insulation part of the roof's laying down there, and some of the floors have holes all through them.
Well, what you described, those are clear health violations. And I will advise the health department in writing. I'll give council a copy of that letter and documentation. I'm more than happy to send you a copy of that as well. And that will go out tomorrow.
If they did go into use facilities, there's none there. Toilet is gone, I didn't think to take a picture of a wax ring that's on the floor, and there's no shower, no tub, no kitchen facilities, no nothing. So,
Mr. Mayor,
thank you for listening,
what
all
kind
of
of
you.
timetable are we looking at for a resolution for this individual here?
Well, the letter will go out tomorrow. I would imagine the mail will probably get it there the following day. And then I'm going to give it about 24 to 48 hours, and then we'll make a follow-up call to the county expressing our concern that some sort of immediate action needs to be done regarding this particular address, and request an inspector on site to reassess it. I think in addition to that, we'll see what city codes are involved that we could take advantage of and see if we can move in the interim on our own as well. So we'll try to attack it from two separate angles and start the ball rolling first thing tomorrow.
Well, I didn't think about it when I took the picture 2 days ago, but I should have worn a mask and put boots on.
Yeah.
I sprayed my shoes with Lysol and whatever I breathed in, because it looked like black mold everywhere, which is probably right because of being empty for around 7 years.
Well, and I just got those, and I appreciate that, I just got those photos from you this afternoon, so that gives me enough ammunition to forward that on to the county health department.
And I'm sure Mr. Shaney was not on the inside of the house.
No, I don't think you would. But if the circumstances changed or they had degraded to that point, I think that may change the game from the county's perspective.
Yes, well, especially with the mold.
Well, and the fact that they're living in unhealthful conditions.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're behind on the water bill, $2,000 or $3,000, and their taxes about probably $10,000, $11,000.
Mr. Kelly?
Do we still have an inspector working for us?
Well, we got Mr. Finch.
Cardinal, the enforcer, does he still work for us?
Yes.
Yes.
Is he on duty now?
Yeah. He's
I mean, he's
probably
still,
be on till the first week
he's
of
still on
November.
payroll?
Yes.
Okay.
He wants to be very careful walking around, which he knows his own job, but because a police officer told me one day they checked, a few months back, that they wouldn't go very far in the house because of the holes,
structural
the
damage
rotting
on the
floor,
inside though.
walls missing.
That would be Lionel and the county.
I can't tell you, I'm going to do
I
everything
didn't
I
know
can.
whether we laid him off during the winter or what.
Yeah, he usually wraps up, we bring him in the spring and we usually let him go, it's a seasonal job, so we let him go late fall, usually.
But he's still on patrol.
Yep, probably until the first week of November, but we are going to definitely light a fire under the situation tomorrow. I have the ammunition, and I appreciate you giving me that documentation, that certainly helps.
Okay.
See, I'm not sure about your continuances, but a first continuance should never been allowed to be issued in the first place, because this house has been like this almost before Crystal moved out of the house all those years back, because
Didn't you get a copy?
I was in the house a few times before.
I was over there.
There was
Talked
some
to
documentation presented at the hearing that I was at
him. Lives, so you got
that
616,
showed that upon a
626,
death,
and then he's the next one
that
over.
the house was not hers. And that went on for several months and went to court action before she actually got it back. And that was the interim period where the stuff with the tires were in the yard and everything else. And
I used to mow the lawn to keep the neighborhood out in the big yard across the street. That owner lived in Montana. Never saw the house, bought it and resold it. He paid me through the mail,
We'll be praising him.
but I don't charge to mow lawns.
Isn't it?
Even the one that for 6 years that I mowed next door.
Okay, thank
I
you.
just do it to help people out and the neighborhood to try to make it look nice.
Very good.